Listen, those of you who have been looking for a promotion, stop asking for promotion. Connect to the power that makes things happen for your nation. Connect to the power that makes things happen for your territory. Connect to the power that makes things happen for your people. Connect to the power that changes history.
Wide awake, drawing close, stirred by grace, and all my heart is yours. All fear removed, breathe you in and lead into your life. Oh, your love.
A man has been given riches, wealth, honor that he wanteth nothing of all that he desires. An attack comes, or the evil one comes to frustrate this man's life, and God lets it happen so that man does not have the power to eat of what God has given him, because an evil one has intercepted. Are you following what I'm saying? Then the Bible says, a stranger comes and eats of it. And God says this is an evil disease. It's an evil disease. And I don't know a continent that suffers from that disease like Africa. How many of you understand what I'm saying? I don't know a continent that is suffering from that disease like Africa. Many Africans think they are poor. They're not really poor. A stranger has devoured her strength as a continent. Strangers have devoured their inheritance. They think they are poor. They are not poor. No, they're strangers coming, taking this inheritance. Those of you who read economic statistics know this, and I'm going to help for those of you who probably don't take time to read. How many of you know the GDP of Africa? Anybody? 2.7 trillion. The whole of Africa, north, east, west, south. 2.7 trillion. 2.7 trillion. North, east, west, south. Including South Africa, which is believed to be a first world, quote and unquote. Are you following what I'm saying? Who knows the GDP of Japan? 5.4 trillion. The nation of Japan, 5.4 trillion. Who knows the GDP of Germany? 4.4 trillion. What resources are underground in Germany? Tell me what resources you know are mined in Germany. Tell me which resources you know are mined in Japan. Take, for instance, a nation like Uganda, or all the coffee-producing nations in the world. It is said that the total value, global value of coffee across the world is 460 billion. That's the global value of coffee. $460 billion. If you get all the coffee producing nations in the world, Ethiopia, Uganda, Brazil, mention those of you who know them. Huh? Ethiopia, anybody? Any else? Any other? Colombia, any other? Does Ghana produce coffee? Malaysia? Indonesia? If you get all the coffee producing nations and put them together, of the 460 billion, they only receive 25 billion. Of the 460 billion. of that share. They receive only 25 billion. If you come to Africa, Ethiopia and Uganda are among the leading producers of coffee in the world. Africa, the whole of Africa, will receive only 2.5 billion. 2.5 billion of the 460. Uganda receives $800 million of the 460. Germany receives 40 billion. Did you get it? Germany receives 40 billion. Uganda receives 800 million. 40 billion. The whole of Africa, all the coffee producing nations in the world receive 25 billion, which is about 7%, 6%. All the coffee producing. Germany receives 40 billion. It's close to double the profit of all the coffee producing nations in the world. If you ask our economists, they say value addition. Value addition. That on the market, a kilo of coffee costs about $2.5. But once it's processed to the end product, you could make about $40 per kilo. Okay? We know it. Why aren't we doing it? Why aren't we doing it? This is just coffee alone. What about South Africa? And your gold? And your platinum? Your diamonds? How much of that stays? What of Congo? 3/4 of the world's cobalt are produced from one country, the DRC. 3/4 of the world's cobalt. That which you use to make your batteries. The gold in Congo. What of the oil in Nigeria? What of the diamonds in Sierra Leone and Ivory Coast? Did Ivory Coast? What of the gold in Ghana? What of the gold in Zimbabwe? What of the diamonds in Botswana? Are you following what I'm saying? A stranger eateth. A stranger eateth. Value addition. Let us put companies to be able to translate these things and make them at home so we can add value to them. You see? We know that science. We know that that's the solution. But guess what? We don't have the power. Because it's one thing to be able to know what to do. It's another to have the power to do. I have an example, take for instance, of a nation like Sierra Leone. We have a very wonderful fellowship there. Recently, I had gone into a place of prayer. For many days now, I've been praying for that one nation, Sierra Leone, because I got a few visions on it. If you read about this dear nation, almost the 4 biggest diamonds that I've ever discovered on the face of the earth came from one nation, Sierra Leone. They say that at least $250 million is made every year in the sale of diamonds. At least that's what's on the book. That's what's on the book. That's what is assumed to be on the book. We're not talking about what is not even recorded, but it somehow finds its ways on the black market. $250 million. But have you ever looked at the pictures of Sierra Leone? Do you have some? Can you put up some pictures up there? That's Sierra Leone. Give me another picture. That's Sierra Leone. 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 That is Sierra Leone. Thank you. That's Sierra Leone. You heard of the insurgencies that happened in the 90s. Only because that nation had diamonds, very indifferent people funded war for all of them to die so that diamond would leave that nation and go and feed their children. They became bloody diamonds. In Nigeria, it's the oil curse. Why isn't it a curse in Qatar? Because of the petrodollar. Why isn't it a curse in the United Arab Emirates? Because of the petrodollar. An agreement was signed years ago between the United States of America and these Arab nations. And the condition was, we'll give you all the security you need. Nobody will touch your borders. The condition is you have to sell all the oil in dollars. That's what they call the petrodollar. Some of you know what I'm saying. And so by that, all the oil has to be sold in dollars. And the consequence of that is 70% of the world's dollars are outside the United States of America. And 90% of the transactions on the face of the earth, international transactions, 90% of them are done in dollars. Are you following what I'm saying? When some leaders have a problem with that, they can't be flushed out. These guys can come on African soil and take out a leader in 2024. Now, a man like Nelson Mandela says, no, it's not fair. 27 years of incarceration. Why? Because we have a problem with this brain. Don't think that when we start saying these things, they don't watch us. They know that we know. And they already have a problem with people like us because we can tell the difference. We read through. That's a disease. It's a disease. And it's common in Africa. Everything from the earth was created free. Diamonds are free. Gold is free. Silver is free. Oil is free. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes that the earth was created or made for the good or the profit of man. This is now Solomon speaking. That the earth was created for the profit of all men. Even the king is served in the what? In the field. The earth is for the profit of all men. That means all the resources under that ground. Thank you. Ecclesiastes 5:9. Moreover, the profit of the earth is for all men, and the king himself is served by the field. It means that whatever is underground is for the profit of all. That's how God designed it. That's how God designed it. Go on the internet and read the countries with the 5 biggest gold reserves on earth. I'll interest you. The countries with the 5 biggest gold reserves on earth: United States, Germany, Italy, Russia. Do you hear any African country? None. The gold comes from Africa. But these 4 or 5 nations have the biggest gold reserves on the earth. On the face of the earth. Yet they don't have gold under the ground. Have you ever heard of a mine in France? That it's among the biggest gold depositors. They have reserves. They just sit there because they stabilize their economy. Where did that gold come from? Answer me. Where did that gold come from? So yes, our leaders are saying value addition, but do they know actually what they're saying? Okay, so why aren't they adding the value if they know what they're saying? This is beyond speaking. There is a power that translates these things. Gold is free from the ground, but not everybody can take it out and give it value. Oil is free from the ground, but not everyone has the power to drill it out and give it value. Diamonds are free, but not everybody has the power to take it out. Of course, many Africans are hired or forced to take it out, but they have no power or grace to give it value. It's called the law of translation. In the Bible, we call it the law of translation. The law of exchange. The ability and potential to give value to a thing or to translate the value of a thing by divine empowerment. Not all men have the power. Everything you see here is free. Iron came from the earth free. Everything. The clothes you're putting on grew from cotton plants, which were free. But you bought that blouse with money. You get it? The tiles are free from the earth. Nothing on the earth is not from the earth or carries no relationship with the earth. But the power to translate that to value. You realize that there is a people who have it and there's a people who don't have it. Even when we know the solution, we don't have the power to manifest that solution. It's the evil disease. So when the Bible says, and don't ever underestimate the power of this, it says, for it is God which gives you power to make wealth. He gives you power to make wealth. It's a power to translate things and give them value. It's not just the wisdom. It's a power. There is a power. He says, you shall remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which he swore unto thy fathers. Power, the Hebrew word there is koach. Koach means the ability to translate things to value. Because without the ability to translate, without the strength to translate things to value, you carry no wealth. That's wealth. Oh, colonization, okay. Since when did Zimbabwe receive its independence? How many years ago has Zimbabwe been independent? But how much gold is leaving Zimbabwe? Every day. Some of these nations received their independence many, many years ago. Now it's no longer the white men coming for it. It's our own people selling it. It's our own people transacting and selling their own nations now. So we still blame the white man. Oh, you want him to empower you and come build the industries for you because he owes you? You think he doesn't have children? He does have children. He also wants to preserve a posterity for his children's children. So don't think that he could think, okay, oh, we're taking 40 billion and Uganda is one of the leading producers. Let's go and give them value. Let's put plants for them so they can build wealth. And then what happens to us who don't have gold or silver? The richest wealth they have for most of the parties, the brick, the buildings they have. Without that, they have nothing, isn't it? So you think it's in their interest and goodwill to make sure they make you richer and make themselves poorer because they are morally convicted. By who? But then we have known this for years. Countries have been liberated for years. Why aren't we doing it? It's because it's more than just knowing what to do. There's just the power to do these things. I know a guy, if he tells you a business thing, he'll do it. You'll be successful. He'll tell you, if you go do this and invest here, you'll make money. He's one of the poorest people I know. He's sick. He's a sick man. That's the reason why conferences like Excel come, to connect us to the value that translates these things, that we will truly have power. You see, some of you think it's about making money and wealth and building wealth and looking after your children. That's myopic. That's short-sighted. It's very short-sighted if you're in this room and all you want is me, as long as I can get enough to look after my children and my family and my mother is sleeping well. If that's just your mindset, then you're sick. You need to be cured today. Because those guys are not using their wealth only for their family. They're determining our political systems. They're determining our education systems. They're determining our social systems. If you don't agree to this, we'll not give you your money. Who got it? You got it? Okay, we won't give you our money, which we made by taking your wealth. Are you following what I'm saying? That is why Christianity should not take for granted the power of covenants. Ask your neighbor, what covenant do you have with God? And I'm talking about every aspect of life. When it comes to ministry, I have a vow with God. When it comes to my marriage, there are things I have a vow with God. The things I have built as covenants with God in my finances. Every aspect of my life is covenanted. Because these covenants cover many things. Some of you live life very predictably. You have no vow with God. Not even one. No, I'm not talking about just the generic things. I'm talking about those deeper things every Christian should know. When the Bible says you shall be the heads and not the tail, above only and not beneath, it's just not going to happen because God has said it. He's given you the power. He's given you these things. Sorry. But the power to eat thereof will require a certain wisdom. There is something he told Abraham that you must connect to. Are you following what I'm saying? There is something he told Isaac that you must connect to. If you don't connect to that, it doesn't matter how much you know. It comes with the power. That's why I told people, I'm a seed of Abraham. This earth must hear me. It was willed to him.